Hello, most beautiful stars, you bright shooting stars. Okay, so about a few weeks ago, I had posted a video going over the um, levels of consciousness chart. And forgive me, all, I just spent about an hour trying to figure out how to use all of this. Still, probably not the best at knowing what I'm doing. So I'm hoping this is recording appropriately. Yes, young people and those others who use the internet a lot, please excuse my old soul for not knowing how to use things. Um, I had released a video going through the levels of consciousness chart, and I said I would do a follow-up video of essentially what I refer to as the pyramid of self-ascension. You are going to see a lot of triangles, hence pyramids in a way here on Stars of Morning Light on Patreon. This is a free video going out to everyone. If you like what you see here, please consider subscribing. There's a lot that happens here at Stars of Morning Light on Patreon, and all of the patrons also learn how to use pyramids physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in all sorts of ways for all the great qualities that pyramid work can do. So, with that follow-up, this video, I will be going through a lot of interesting aspects of human life in using all of these different triangles. What you see before you, as if you can remember the levels of consciousness chart, which I should have pulled up. Um, Let me see if I can do that. Give me 1 second. 1 second, beloveds, as I have it here all the time with me. So there's a video here that I went through all of this. And as we can remember, I had gone through all the lower frequencies and working our way up. Lower frequency, fear, love. Remember, as I speak often at Stars of Morning Light on YouTube, it's a matter of choice. Are we in fear or are we in love? And in the current state of affairs across the globe, across the globe, um, there's a lot of choice to be made. Are we in fear or are we in love? And so that's what a lot of this video is about, is how do we navigate our way through things? How do we navigate our way through so we can choose love more often than fear, right? And I'm not saying every day is perfect, but how do we choose love more often than fear? What does that process look like? So, that video, I believe, if you scroll down through the Patreon page, it is there. It is titled I, We, One, the levels of consciousness chart. Please go back and review that because you'll have a much more understanding of frequency and the numbers and what this chart is all about. There's also, I believe, in this post with this video, there is an attachment of the levels of consciousness chart for you as well to review. I think everyone should print this out, spend quality time with it, and um, really try to understand how and why and where we're at. So let's get back to the triangles, lovely people. The reason and how this happens, as we can see, hopefully behind me, I don't know how this is going to record, if this is going to be me in the corner or where I'm at, but that's fine. I don't care where I'm at. I know that this right here is where most of humans are at. So this triangle is what is referred to as the victim abuser triangle. Um, I have used this triangle, well, in my past career of case management and whatnot, I have used this triangle for decades. What was added was the fear, hesitation, and doubt that comes from my teachers down in Ecuador, Sri and Kira. The unified field of Sri and Kira as of now, as Sri passed away in January. But they had been talking about this for quite a long time with the victim abuser rescuer triangle. It is a common triangle used in therapeutic communities. Okay. So this is not anything that, this is not created out of nowhere. Everyone in therapeutic communities know of the victim abuser triangle. Essentially, what happens is victim, abuser, rescuer. We can bounce back and forth between those three over and over again. Victim, abuser, rescuer, right? In a lot of ways, this is codependent thought patterns and behaviors that I speak about frequently. Victim, abuser, rescuer. My teachers then also added fear, hesitation, and doubt because that is what kind of fuels this circular motion or bouncing back and forth between these different positions, right? Your rescuer is definitely your martyr type of mentality, or you could be the abuser and you come back and you rescue the victim in your ways, and it's all manipulation. Um, Victimhood is a very tricky thing to examine within ourselves because we can we might not be physically abused. We might not be having anything too tremendous, but right now in the world, a lot of people are taking on that spirit, as one would say, that energy of victimhood in multiple ways, because we're experiencing massive betrayal from those in powerful positions that we thought were there for our betterment. Well, and that is usually like within the first few stages of some form of awakening to our own independent sovereignty and awareness. The grand awareness is that we recognize that we're victims first. Well, then we have to work through that. And so this is, as I said, you can research the victim abuser triangle as much as you would like. I mean, it's all over the place. You can just Google it. The fear, hesitation, and doubt is the emotions and the thought patterns that hold this system that we live in all those lower frequencies in place. And what many also don't know is we tend to, because we, if we're in our victimhood, we project all of this out to others. Other people are doing this. When in many cases, we actually do this within ourselves. This is what self-sabotage would look like as well. This is the thoughts that we tell ourselves, right? The thoughts that we those ants in the brain that just circulate through the fear, hesitation, and doubt, and we end up abusing ourselves with horrible thoughts. And then we get very depressed. And then we pick ourselves back up because we're rescuing ourselves. And then the system keeps going back through because some kind of doubt or fear comes into play, right? This, folks, the victim abuser triangle, um, is exactly what holds us in those lower frequencies, truly and sincerely. And I do want to add, within this, there is an amount of judgment that it's almost incomprehensible. Um, when we really start to try to walk away from judgment of self and others, and we open our eyes even more so, we will be able to see that judgment is actually in almost every form of our reference of thought patterns and thinking. I will give an example as to how big and how much judgment is present in our lives. All summer, I had been working on quote unquote a certification, a new certification. And I did all the work and it's been lovely and wow, the intensity and the connection to my authentic self in all ways, shapes, and forms. I did anointings and I did what is referred to as a full soul retrieval restoration, which is living as the full embodiment of my complete self, all memories of since Courtney had ever been created. So all past lives, all everything that has ever been known, um, is within me now. And so at the very end of all of this, I mean, I mean, there is no end really. I'm still walking through, I'm still walking it. Um, and I want to let everyone know that some of those, the anointing aspect process to it is available to the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light, for donation based. At the end of all this, if I so chose to receive my certification, I just had to continue to fill out all the documentation, which I had already done throughout the process. But at the very kind of end of, the weeks that I had been working within all this, I just sent a beautiful thank you letter to my teacher and I did tell her, I stated everything that, I had done as she had already known, and she knew the difficulties I would have and the blessings I would have and all sorts of things. But at the very end of it, I said in that letter, I said, you can send me the certification if you'd like, but I don't really need it. The reason I'm able to do that is because for me, even certifications are another form of judgment. Almost everything we think and we do and we strive for, that we feel, is some form of judgment. So I just told her, I don't really need it. You can if you'd like, because I'm just going to, I learned, I experienced, now I do. Period. Right? I don't need a piece of paper because that's actually some kind of form of judgment within myself or appearances to others. Um, the paper meant nothing to me. Um, and that when I say judgment, see, that could even be as of even great things like, look, I accomplished this. That paper has nothing to do with what I've accomplished or the anointings that are transpiring with others now because of what I've accomplished. I'm saying this because even in the smallest amounts, there is some form of judgment. Even in all of our thought patterns and behaviors and thinking. To what degree, right? We say always to what degree. Within this, the victim, abuser, rescuer triangle, the fear, hesitation, and doubt that fuels this. The amount of self-judgment and judgment of others is to a degree that is almost incomprehensible. And that's why we continue to walk in this, right? Instead of allowing ourselves to be and others to be, we are fixed managing and controlling this triangle. We are fixed managing and controlling this triangle within ourselves and within others. And it is all a form of judgment of some sort. All a form. To what degree? It, I guess depends on the day and where you're at in this, right? And where you're at in this. This is though the cause and effect of the lower frequencies on the levels of consciousness chart. So, what do we do about it? Let's keep going with our triangles. As I teach a lot of the pyramid of self-ascension with a lot of triangles. So let's get out of here and go to how does this happen then? Okay, folks, so we have, I'm going to see if we can make this a bit bigger so people can see, right? So we have another triangle. We had one that was the victim abuser, rescuer triangle with fear, hesitation, and doubt, right? Standing upright. What is really um, flowing the energy of the world, right? Within and around. Unfortunately, as above, so below, as within, so without, right? And now we have another one. Now, I do want to say that this was the missing piece for me. For quite a long time, I could see all these things. I knew all these things, all sorts of stuff. Um, and when my teachers first started showing this many moons ago, I went, wow, missing piece. Awesome, groovy. Everything else is an original of mine for the most part. I will give credit where credit's due. Um, so when I first saw this with them, I went, bingo, there we go. So this is healer, teacher, mentor, right? And what's awesome is we then can circle throughout this. We bounce back and forth, healer, teacher, mentor. So I am a teacher, right? I teach many a things. For many a years, I was a mentor. Oh my goodness, for many a years, I was a mentor. Then I moved into being a teacher. But this past summer, like I just said, I then was not just a healer, I was healing myself. The healer starts with self. So I bounce back and forth. I do. I bounce back and forth. I love when I get to be a student, when I get to absorb healing for myself. I mean, that's how we do this, right? So we can bounce back and forth with this. Why is this one upside down or the it seems as if it's the opposite because we live in a world of duality and opposing opposites, right? Um, because it'll fit to cover, as you'll see in a moment, um, how to make this all happen, how to heal that victim abuser triangle. Starts way down here with healer or healing, right? First, we can become a healer of ourselves. And the point has to be so very narrow. This should just say the word self healer, right? Self healer, as there will be another self that comes up. These graphics were quickly done by Robin Lewis, a patron here at Stars of Morning Light. So I very much appreciate this because even doing something this simple would have taken me hours. So healer, self healer. very narrow point that can tell us, that can inform us where to start. We start with self and we heal and we heal. And that will then have to expand outward and keep expanding outward and keep get further and further, right? Right? Keep going up and expand, and we heal more and we heal more and we heal more to then this big, wide open expansion that you start to be able to mentor others because you've done so much good healing. You've healed yourself so greatly and you started healing other people. And now you're mentoring others with affirmations, positivity, keeping your chin up, being authentic, being who you are, walking beside others, saying hello, right? And a teacher where you've gained more awareness based through all this great healing and working with others as a mentor. Now you're a teacher and you kind of bounce around, and what great expansion from this very narrow point. Great expansion from this very narrow point of looking at self and caring about self all the way through. I'm sure many of you can understand this. I speak greatly about this all the time. So let's look at what this really can do then. Let's just look. Oh my goodness, everybody. Now we are into some sacred geometry. Yes, we are. A pyramid is sacred geometry in its own right. And you all are beautiful pyramids walking around. Everybody's the shining, lovely pyramid. And if folks here at Stars and Morning Light on Patreon, you really understand the power of pyramids. And we are our own pyramid. It's wonderful and great. My teachers in Ecuador, they have the Pyramid of Peace, the first pyramid made out of all natural resources. Very large, very powerful. They are making plans and still working on it to put pyramids all over the place to help humanity. It is it's great when you can find teachers that you're aligned with and that you resonate with. And I will say I was already doing the pyramid of self-ascension as they do the yoga of self-ascension, which is amazing. Um, and I was working with pyramids probably a year or so before they started revealing more about pyramids to the world. And so we've been right on track with our pyramid work. But as we can see, as I babbled there, so you could actually look at this graphic, we have the victim abuser triangle going on, victim abuser rescuer, healer mentor teacher, healer mentor teacher. Now, some refer to this as the Star of David. This is a sacred geometry. It always has been, regardless of who you are, where you come from, or what your beliefs are. This is sacred geometry. So, healer, mentor, teacher covers the abuser, victim, rescuer. And what's amazing is when we heal, 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 and we're covering the original triangle that we lived in for ever and ever, ever and ever. Beautiful stars, the victim abuser triangle, this is not new to humanity. This is not just the past few generations. The victim abuser triangle has been for hundreds of years in humanity. It's ingrained in us. We heal and heal. We heal. We help heal others just with our presence as a mentor, just with our presence of sound mind and peace. We move into teaching others how do you hold that sound mind and peace. And then who shows up? The true rescuer at the top. Not some outside force, not some influence. You. You, you who has done the work that started at this very low point and done all this wonderful healing and work and having unconditional love for yourself and others and releasing all forms of judgment as you heal, heal, heal your mind, body, and soul, helping then others because service is a huge key to them being the true rescuer of yourself and helping others to learn that they are sovereign, that they are mighty, that they are limitless, that they have all the infinite potential within them. The true rescuer shows up then. My teachers would use this. Come on, pop up. Maybe I clicked too many times. There we go. My teachers would show you this. And this might be hard to see on this film, but within here are the chakras of the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual system. Within here is a lotus. It's kind of hard to make out, that spiral around. But once again, this is what we strive for. So many cultures use these symbols, use these ideas to create sound, mind, and body, peace within, to release the judgment as we move on up within our system of energy. And isn't it interesting still, the furthest point, the point that points back to you, points back to the human. As we move on up, we start clearing away the wreckage of our past, clearing away self-judgment, open to compassion for ourselves and others, using all of our awareness into star consciousness, into being able to see the infinite potentiality of all beings, all of the pyramids. So how do we, what's one step that we can get going, get moving? This, ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, you beautiful beings of love and light, all humans. This is what I refer to as my pyramid of self-ascension. This right here is where you can start by taking that victim abuser triangle of fear, hesitation, and doubt, self-sabotage. Take it within yourself to be responsible for, because we have to take responsibility for our own thought patterns, actions, and behaviors, regardless if humans have been doing that same pattern and that same pattern for hundreds and hundreds of years. Well, now it's time we take responsibility and gain our own sovereignty, our own full awareness, our own spiritual essence within, and heal, 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 become the mentor teacher. This is where it can start. This is my pyramid of self-ascension. So this is always you guys. This is always you guys. Physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Okay? And I know I have shown this, I don't know how many times, that Stars of the Morning Light on YouTube. I've talked about it a million times, but I'm going to hold my hands up so I hope everybody can see. Imagine you are that pyramid. Down here is emotional and mental, physical, spiritual at the top, right? Well, when we neglect out of fear, hesitation, and doubt, when we neglect or mistreat any one of these points, any one of emotional and mental, physical, spiritual, any one, of these areas that we start to neglect, abuse, forget about out of fear, hesitation, and doubt because we're thinking about others or we're also obsessed with ourselves, as in that victim abuser triangle, then what happens with the sacred geometry of a triangle, of any pyramid, really, if one starts to crumble away, well, then eventually everything falls. Everything falls. So if we're not taking care of our emotional and mental, and this starts crumbling away, the whole thing falls. If we're not taking care of our physical, right? We're ignoring the fact that these meat suits that we have are a divine gift that holds all of our capabilities of doing the action that is needed to successfully live our great potential, right? If we start to ignore those or abuse that, well, then they'll start crumbling away. Everything falls. Same with spirituality. If this starts crumbling at top, what, as we know, if the top falls, everything else will. So this is you, this beautiful pyramid, you shining, shining light, you lovely star, this beautiful pyramid that enables you to do everything, everything. We can fill this structure then, fill ourselves with gratitude to try to keep it sound, whole, connected, cared for. When we are grateful, when we are grateful, we then take care of our mental and emotional. We take care of our physical. We take care of our spiritual. We fill this pyramid full up with gratitude. And what can help is to build that structure, even if you have to crumble it all down. That tends to happen. Oftentimes, when we neglect and avoid, oh, so much avoidance, neglect and avoid, and our pyramid crumbles, well, then we have to rebuild. If you build on a foundation of meditation, and with each brick that you do in your healing guidance within, and healing from others, and awareness that you are worthy, and you fill each brick by brick with gratitude, this structure will end up being very solid, on solid ground, on solid foundation of meditation, and then solid within with gratitude. This for me is the pyramid of self-ascension. Now, I do know meditation is difficult for many people. I do teach aspects about that of how to do meditation for all the different minds, all the different mindsets, which might be a separate free video here as well. But do know there is many different types of meditation, many different ways to meditate that can improve this. One for all those racing brains out there, all the very active brains, journal, just get it all out, right? Activity as in running, doing something physical, hiking, pulling weeds in the yard, they're all meditation. So what I'm referencing here is that meditation does not need to just be we're sitting in silence trying to stop that brain. A, that's not accurate in any way, shape, or form anyways. But there are so many different ways. And some brains need to have a kind of influence in front of them, music or maybe even a quick game like with our gadgets for like 10 minutes, then we set it down and then we sit quietly with even music going. Some brains are just, we need different approaches, which is fine. Taking a nice long drive can be a form of meditation. It, we all know that driving is very much due to motor skills. And so sometimes we just need to take a long drive in the country. Now, I would not suggest doing that in a city, but in the country, right? Um, Playing with dogs, playing with animals, playing with your cat, all forms of meditation. So people have very interesting ideas about what meditation is, and that is just another form of judgment. So if we build our pyramid or repair our pyramid on a foundation of meditation, fill it with gratitude, this will help sustain healing. Oh, this is way over here now. Why are you moving on me? Sustain healing this, right? I'm pulling this back up. This is, like I said, where the majority of all people are at. Rescuer, victim, abuser, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, within themselves and within their all relationships. Fear, hesitation, doubt. Very much the codependency, thought patterns and habits, fix, manage, and control. Fix, manage, and control myself and others, right? It's how we communicate. Very much the ego within all this, right? And we can heal it. We can heal it. We can stop utilizing this way of being when we ask ourselves, am I in fear or am I in love? Am I in compassion or am I in judgment? Am I in compassion or am I in judgment? I'm going to bring all of them back up so you can review for a moment. The healer, the mentor, teacher, healer, triangle. Now, beautiful, lovely stars, you glowing pyramids, right, of good energy. You are creation. You are creation. I'll say it a third time. You are creation. And so you can create a whole new world and life for yourself and those around you, but it does take putting in the effort and the work, right? It does take doing this and at least having a starting point, at least having a starting point of the pyramid of self-ascension. And choosing to remember, am I in fear or am I in love? Making a choice. Which will it be? Am I in compassion or am I in judgment? It's a choice. Which will it be? Do I have gratitude? Am I grateful? Am I doing some form of meditation that releases the stress and the fears? Am I noticing if my mental and emotional state needs my attention, my physical, my spiritual? Am I aware? Am I in my being or am I outside of my being? And that victim abuser triangle It's a fascinating um headspace of being outside of our being, focused on others, fix, manage, and control them, while also not in our true self, not in our own being, because it's a form of judgment then within us of self-sabotaging, victim abuser triangle within that is focused then on ourselves in a victim mentality. Hmm. A fix, manage, and control. When this here, pyramid of self-ascension, is how we can start to heal and maintain, sustain the efforts of healing. Be able to choose more often love over fear, choose more often compassion over judgment. And so, you beautiful, lovely lights, you amazing, powerful pyramids and stars, beautiful suns, S-U-N. When we do this, as you are creation, and we truly heal and we become those mentor, teacher, the real rescuer of self, the true, powerful, sovereign, authentic, divine being that you are shows up, right? The true, divine, authentic being, your true self. Your true self shows up and rescues you, right? The rescuer that says, yes, you can. The rescuer who says, we are better together. The rescuer who says, you are infinite potentialities. The rescuer that says you can manifest. You can manifest beyond your limitations of imagination. When all of this is in place, when all of this is in place, and you are utilizing compassion over judgment, you are secure and safe and in love, peace, harmony. You don't have any fear because resolution lives within you. You don't have any fear because you are limitless. You are beautiful, sacred geometry. When that can happen, when that does happen, this is a lovely image done by Maddie out of Canada. Good to hear from you, my dear. She made this quite a long time ago. It is a Merkaba because you are creation. You are lovely and divine. You are perfect in every way. And so when you have a pyramid of victim, abuser, rescuer, and then you cover it with mentor, healer, teacher, and then you take the pyramid of self-ascension, emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual at the top, you are now a Merkaba of creation. This also can happen. Let's say you are able to start healing. You are able to start absorbing and knowing and trusting and loving and have that full awareness that you are infinite potentiality. And then you, your little pyramid self, that's wonderful and perfect and divine and great and worthy of all things, meets another pyramid who thinks the same thing, and then meets another pyramid and meets another pyramid. And all these pyramids start connecting like all the little bubbles that are in sacred geometry, all the little bubbles that connect with each other and then bounce off each other and work with each other in the harmony of creation. All the little atoms and electrons and all this stuff that works in science, we are of the same. So when our own self, beautiful pyramid, connects with another, a Merkaba can be created as well. So you have a Merkaba within you, because you are divine creation, right? Takes healing, takes action, takes the pyramid of self-ascension, foundation of meditation, the fulfillment of gratitude, to be grateful. You then are your own Merkaba that also your pyramid can attach to other people's pyramids and create big Merkabas of creation, all lovely sorts of creation within and around. This is a great graphic that I appreciated Maddie for doing. She was inspired by listening to one of the videos long ago on YouTube. Um, and she designed this, and I thought it was wonderful. I still think it's wonderful. So thank you, my dear. All of us, all of us have the power within, are capable of such great things, capable of such great things. And I'll leave you with this. I shared with the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light this past Sunday when we were having a class that oftentimes when we go to manifest, let's say that, because we are manifesting all the time, right? Even if we're not acknowledging it, we are manifesting all the time because we are creators of creation. We are we are creators, right? We are um the leaders of creation, as the Akashic told us, I believe, in the September or August collective reading. We are leaders of creation. We are creating all the time. Here's the thing that I was talking to the patrons about on Sunday. Oftentimes, when we think about manifesting, it is in comparison to what we have always known. It is in comparison to or striving for what has always been presented. Meaning, we are trying to manifest a new car that we saw on the road. That was great. We're trying to manifest money for the economic system that we've lived in for a very long time. We're trying to manifest um, a location to permanently live in, housing, right? That we've always known. I'm not saying those things are bad. I don't think those things are bad in any way, shape, or form. But we are living in a time now that if we would like to create form out of the formless, manifest form out of formless, manifest entire new ways of living with one another, being with one another, a whole new world, we are capable of doing so. But it's hard for our imagination to even come up with ideas that are not drawn from what has always been known. But we are limitless. We are infinite potentiality. We are creation itself. So expand, 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 expand out of what has been known to receive and to want and to manifest into the unknown. Meaning, if you would like a world of peace, love, and harmony, just because it's never been seen, truly, in quite a long time, right? From cycles ago. Just because it's never been seen doesn't mean it can't be done, can't be manifested. If you want stuff for yourself and for your loved ones, as manifesting is not just about you, it's about you and everyone involved. If you want stuff that has never even been fathomed, it's hard to imagine things that have never been witnessed. So I'm going to leave you with this hope. Hope is within all of creation. Hope is within all of creation. When that light penetrated the void, when, however you want to put it, creation, the light penetrated the void, then there was word, then there's first thought. However you want to describe or think of the first creation of us, right? This galaxy and others. There was hope. It was not a random, well, let's see what happens when I do this. Even if it was a random, there's still hope there because it's in the hope of seeing what would be, what could be. Hope is always before creation. It's within creation. It's the inspiration to create, right? It's the inspiration to create all things. Well, and even if we don't know what it looks like, even if we don't know how it will all play out, even when we don't know what is fully going on, even when it's kind of quote unquote random, there is hope there to even be able to witness what if, what if, to witness what will happen. So start with that. If we can't expand our minds out into the infinite potentiality, then maybe start with just the what if. Ask yourself, what would it look like if all humans lived in compassion and not judgment? What would that look like? How would I witness that? What would it look like if I lived without fear? What would that look like? What would it look like if we all felt secure and safe and at peace? What would it look like if all humans were living at their best potentiality? What would this new earth that everyone talks about look like? Begin to imagine in your mind what you would witness to the what ifs, to expand out within that hope of what could be. So, all of this that we just talked about, the pyramid of self ascension, can hold that hope, hold all those manifestations, can hold all that you would like when we walk away, when we stop living in fear, hesitation, and doubt, when we heal the victim abuser triangle. This has been a free video out to everyone. If you are interested in joining Stars of the Morning Light, all tiers do get you the classes that I teach twice a month here. And also the patrons do receive usually the Akashic Records, messages, Zodiac, and Collective earlier so they can be more aware of what is the energy of the month coming. And there's always usually for in-person classes, online classes, extra stuff, discounts. Currently, right now, there are anointings happening for the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light, all donation based and or free. So consider subscribing here, but even $5, $8. Do suggest eight if you can afford eight, because that makes up the difference for those that can only afford five. Um, and stick with us. Sunday mornings we meditate together at 9:30 our individual time of 9:30, and we are doing great work around the world as a group, as a team, as all the stars shining together at Stars of Morning Light on Patreon. So enjoy. Have a great day. Remember, you are limitless. You are beautiful. You are leaders of creation. Be in your gratitude. Know that you can heal and things can be different. Bye, folks.